Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the Aerosoft CRJ. It's just seen a huge update featuring a new flight model, a new engine model, and a lot of bug fixes, so I'm really excited to take it into the air. Today we're going to fly the Lufthansa CRJ from Nuremberg to Frankfurt, which is a quick 30-minute flight in which we can operate it with all its new flight characteristics and see how they are going to perform. Now, before we start, a quick message from today's sponsor, Sane Tensions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that can not just do your standard IFR A to B flight, but also stuff like data link, VFR, and a lot more, and if you like what you are going to hear in today's video, then do check them out using the link in the pinned comment or the video description below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into it and take our CRJ flying. Now, in terms of the sceneries today, we are using Aerosoft / Captain 7 for Nuremberg, and for Frankfurt we are of course using Aerosoft / Yoke. So, the cabin has already been added with version 2.0, but it's just really nice to see still that 4-year-old product is still getting attention like this. The galley has actually been done to a pretty nice standard, nice texturing in here and nice level of detail, for example up here on the panels, on the circuit breakers, and also up here on the flight attendant panels. That's just a good job they have done over here for updating such an old product. Alright, now let's take a seat though and let's start to prepare ourselves for today's flight. Going to start with a couple of basics, going into the electronic flight back down here, making sure that the ground power unit is connected. So let's put the chocks in place and connect the GPU, and the doors are already open. And well, with that we are good to go. So let's start with a couple of basics. Battery is coming on. The external power is coming on, and you will probably hear rather immediately that I'm not using the standard Aerosoft sounds here, but the Boris AudioWorks sound pack, which is just a lot better for the CRJ. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and do a couple of basics over here. We are going to turn on the DC service so that they can start working in the galleys. Then next up, let's head down into the EFB and import our SimBrief OFP, which is one of the new features from version 2.0 still. Let's go ahead and have a look at our flight plan. We're going to start with the general overview. You can see they don't include the charts over here, but we still have the local airport weather, which is all we're going to need today. So Nuremberg has very good weather conditions and it's going to stay okay for the time being. They will get some heavy thunderstorms in the noon though. Frankfurt is very good at the moment and the weather forecast is good as well until 10 UTC, but by that time we will hopefully long be departed again. So the weather for our arrival period is actually quite okay. Our alternate in Hahn has the same thing. Couple of rain showers, few CBs in the area, or broken CBs to be more exact, but overall good weather conditions. So with this in mind, I don't really see much reason to take extra fuel for the weather, so let's just have a look at the plan. An on-time departure at 6:30 results in an on-time arrival at 7:15. That is good, and we are planned in flight level 220, so probably right within the weather, but that's fine. For our flight plan, we don't really have much influence of any of the weights, so if we just take the standard fuel quantity here, that's 2,803, we're going to round that up to 2,900 kilos, that way we are covered for APU usage as well. So let's go over here and set that payload, then let's go over to the performance tab. That's set over here and looking good, and the fuel is going to be 2,900, enter. Alright, set payload and simulator. With that we are set up for our flight, and then we can go straight into our aircraft setup again. So first things first, IRSs, going into nav, then we can do a fire test, and that is looking good. Alright, let's start the APU. So power switch on, waiting for the door to open. Here we go, and APU start. Lovely, and with that done, let's also call for GSX to start our boarding, please. Now, with those basics out of the way, let's go down into the FMS and start setting us up for today's flight. So, nav database, looks like I actually forgot to update it, but it's fine, it's 2 months old. Okay, so GNS1 position, enter, flight plan. Now we could actually uplink this from the EFB, and since I'm lazy, I'm going to do that. Send to FMS. Alright, let's have a look at that again. So, Nürnberg to Frankfurt, 127 miles, excluding the arrival, alternate Düsseldorf. I don't know why. We clearly took Hahn. Okay. Execute. Then departure, runway 28, and we've got the Sukat 1 Golf departure. Execute, and arrival in Frankfurt. I think it's probably going to be an ILS approach 25 left, and we got the Spesa 4 Bravo arrival, which we have down here. Delta Fox 626 transition. Execute. Alright. So let's check our route. Nürnberg, Frankfurt, alternate Hahn, Sukat 1 Golf to Sukat, direct PVAF, Tango 159 Spesa, and the ground distance on this one 161 versus 159. Close enough, happy with that. So on to the performance in it. Fuel is 2,900 kilograms and cruising altitude 22,000. Alternate is going to be in 12,000. And execute. Now, we don't really need to set any of those weather data. It's not going to make much of a difference on a short flight like this. Transition altitude 5,000 is correct. And then for the performance, let's see what our takeoff data is going to look like. So, takeoff, flex temperature 36 degrees. Let's use that. Okay, excellent. So that's our basic FMS setup complete. Then we can set up our EFIS. Basically, I'm just going to turn the window on and ensure the missed approach is visible, like this. Okay, nice. So then, overhead panel. Not that there is very much to do over here. We can already turn on the hydraulic systems and set our landing elevation. Let's see, 320, we need 360. The packs are coming on, reset fan is coming on, windshield heat on low, passenger signs on, emergency lights armed. Then let's go down here onto the main panel. What do we have as QNH? Actually not shown here, is it? Alright, then we gotta get the ATIS. So, airport chart Nürnberg. Let's see, 123080.
Information Sierra. Nuremberg Airport. Information Sierra. 0550 Zulu. Wind 215 at 7. Visibility 6. Sky conditions, solid overcast at 1700 feet. Temperature 16. Dew point 12. QNH 1006.
1006.
Density altitude 1600 feet. Arriving and departing runway 28. Transition level 60 advise on.
Okay, lovely. So QNH 1006 set and set. Good.
You obey, overheat.
So light test. Making sure that everything works, which it does. Nice. Okay, and you can stay on bright. Alright. Let's actually turn up the volume a bit. Transmit on VHF1, that's good. Okay. You surely want to hear ATC as well. Alright, and that's our setup complete. So then let's go ahead and cross-check our SID, set up our MCP, and then we're ready to go. So Sukat 1 Golf departure is going to be our set. Transition 5000 is cross-checked. So initial climb, flight level 70. Pre-selected. And then the routing, straight at Delta November 282, Delta November 290. And in here we have 282, 290. And then we continue via 287 and Sukat. And that looks excellent. Alright, beautiful. So the sit is cross-checked, all the data is looking good. Then we can turn on the flight director. And that's it. So the bus is already leaving, and that means they're probably going to start the cargo loading now. Fine, let's go ahead and use that time to do the takeoff briefing. So, we're departing Nuremberg, runway 28, Sukat 1 Golf departure, initial climb flight level 70, and the MSA is 4,000 feet. Extra fuel and time, we've got 100 kilos, that's worth about 5 minutes. Alright, thanks for that. No hotspots for the taxi routing, however we are gonna have a good look outside when we leave the parking position, since it's a taxi out position. We've got a stop margin. Well, we don't have a calculator that gives us a stop margin, but it would be several hundred meters for a takeoff like this. Engine outset straight at 25 miles, pick up a holding, and we are going to come back for an ILS approach runway 28 if we have to make an immediate return. We're below the maximum landing weight, so that's not going to be much of an issue. I've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. Do you see any threats for today's departure? No? Okay, that's our briefing complete. Then let's do the power-up and cockpit checklists. Park and brake on, covers and pins removed, oxygen masks checked, 1850 psi, systems and panels checked and set. Power-up checklist complete, cockpit checklist, passenger signs on, pressurization, land out 360 set, altimeters, QNH 1006 reading 950 feet. EFS and CAS checked, FMS checked, IRS aligned, nose wheel steering off, cockpit checklist complete. So, what's GSX doing? All passengers boarded. Beautiful. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Im Namen der deutschen Lufthansa darf ich Sie herzlich an Bord unseres CRJ 900 auf unserem Flug nach Frankfurt begrüßen. Flugzeit heute ca. 30 Minuten in einer Flughöhe von knappen 6000 Metern. Wir bedanken uns, dass Sie unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, genießen den Flug mit uns und wir melden uns im Anflug mit den neuesten Wetterinformationen bei Ihnen. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel Hagen, and in the name of Lufthansa, welcome aboard our CRJ 900 on our flight to Frankfurt. Flight time today will be approximately 30 minutes at an altitude of 6,000 meters. For the time being, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. We have just finished our last paperwork, and we will commence our engine start very soon, so please pay your full attention to the cabin crew safety demonstration. Thank you for being with us. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Okay, lovely. So we can already go ahead and call delivery for our IFR clearance. I did already tune the frequency, and it's not delivery, it's ground over here. But, well, that's kind of the same thing. They have started loading our bags. Excellent. Okay, so let's call for clearance. Information. Sierra is current. Nuremberg ground, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, request IFR clearance to Frankfurt. Information Sierra.
Clearance on request, stand by.
Okay, he's hard at work.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, information Sierra is current. Cleared to Frankfurt via the Suka 1 Golf departure runway 28. Initial climb to 7,000. Departure on 129.525 squawk 1135.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, clear to Frankfurt via the Suka 1 Golf departure, runway 28, climb altitude 7000, departure 129.525, squawk 1135. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, did you copy our readback? No?
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, negative, no readback received. Please repeat your readback.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, clear to Frankfurt via the Sukat 1 Golf departure, climb altitude 7000, departure 129.525, squawk 1135.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, readback correct.
Okay, so runway 28, Sukat 1 Golf departure, climb 7000, departure 129.525, I've pre-selected that on COM 2, and squawk 1135. Okay, looking excellent. Then, next frequency is going to be tower.
Aboard Lufthansa Flight 147, departing from Nuremberg to Frankfurt.
That's
We kindly ask you
118.305.
to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, please don't hesitate to contact our friendly crew. Thank you for choosing Lufthansa, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
So, by now we should have received our load sheet. So we've got 90 passengers and, let's see, 1,119 kilos cargo. So 90 and 1119. Okay, that's a zero fuel weight of 3784, and that's within 1% or 1 kilo. That's absolutely fine with me. All right, execute. Then let's see, takeoff performance, flaps 8 dry and 40, 41, 52. What do we have down here from SimBrief? No takeoff speeds. Huh, okay, fine. Well, set all. And here we go, takeoff data is set. Runway heading. Here we go, looking good. Okay, wonderful. So, last pieces of luggage have just been loaded as far as I can see that. So let's go ahead and close up. Okay. I don't get why they removed the ground power unit without even asking me, but yeah, GSX. No further questions asked. Okay, so parking brake is set and chocks can be removed. Nice. Come on, how do I get this in full screen? Oh well, then we're just gonna use the small one. That's fine for me as well. Okay, good. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, request engine startup.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, engine startup approved.
Engine startup approved, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. So, before start procedure. So, before start push checklist, mobile devices off, beacon on, hydraulics on, doors are closed, park and brake on. So, fuel pumps and quantity. We have 2 pumps on, 2,870 kilos on board, 2,803 kilos required. Takeoff data set, transponder on 1, before start push checklist complete. Ground from flight deck. So we're ready for engine start in sequence 1, then 2. Starting engine 1. Clear 1. Alright, so new engine model. Let's see how that is going to perform. N2 is increasing. And we're looking for oil pressure, we're looking for N1. And theoretically speaking, we should have both by the time that we enter the fuel. In the real world, I probably wouldn't give any fuel like this, but let's give it a try. So, fuel on. We have fuel flow. Why is ITT not rising? Look at that, the engine has clearly ignited, but without any ITT. That's gotta be a bug. Okay, we have a good start on 1, starting 2. So, probably going to be the same thing on engine number 2, but let's see nonetheless. N2 is increasing. Yeah, still no oil pressure, no N1. That's something they gotta fix. Okay, but the engine is still starting. And yes, that would somewhat worry me in the real world, but let's keep it at that, shall we? Okay, 2 good engine starts, clear disconnect, show me the pin on the left side please, and have a good day, bye bye. Okay, flight control track, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. So after start checklist please, anti-ice, off, low, on, AC/DC, makes good music, fuel cross flow, auto, CAS, checked, nose wheel steering, armed, after start checklist complete. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, request taxi via Mic 2. I said via Mic 2 straight away because for some reason St. Anton's prefers to give you the taxiway behind if you're on a taxi outstand.
Unable. Contact the appropriate controller for taxi instructions.
But we are on ground frequency. What? Okay, ground 1176. That's what we're on. Ah, okay. I was still on the interphone. That's fine. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, request taxi via Mic 2.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, taxi to runway 28 via November 2 Alpha.
See, that's exactly why I requested Mic 2. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, we will taxi to runway 28, but via Mic 2 and Alpha. Okay, the right side is clear, the left side is clear. That's a bug in St. Intentions. In Frankfurt it's doing the same thing. On those taxi outstands, for some reason it prefers to give you the taxiway behind you, wherever they do that. Probably because that's how the gate is integrated into the airport on the airport
Captain,
file.
the cabin is ready for departure.
Okay, so it rolls on idle. That's fairly fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Lufthansa Flight 147, departing from Nuremberg to Frankfurt. My name is
So we're clear on the left
and on
side.
behalf of the entire crew, I would like to introduce our captain.
We're down here, left
and our
Mic
first
2,
officer,
Alpha to runway 28.
Joining me in the cabin today are my wonderful colleagues, Lucas, Anna, Felix, and Clara.
Let's get the moving
As we
map
prepare
up.
for takeoff, please ensure that your seatbelts are fastened. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal fitting into the buckle until you hear a click. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the panel above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen, place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put on your own mask.
Alright, takeoff config OK is already showing. The trim is at 7.5 as it should be. Then let's review the takeoff briefing. It's a latitude takeoff, flaps 8, noise abatement procedure number 2, speeds 140, 141, 152, and initial climb at 162. When airborne, contact radar And we've got no specials, nothing non-standard. The SID is a straight line to 7,000. Any questions? No?
We'll be cruising
Lovely.
at an altitude of 22,000 feet, and the estimated flight time is approximately 30 minutes. After we reach cruising altitude, we will be offering a selection of snacks and beverages, including Bavarian pretzels for €4.50 and Franziskaner wheat beer for €4.90. Please note that all transactions are cashless.
How can you tell that we're flying from Bavaria? They're offering beer on a 30-minute flight. So, something I did notice with the CRJ is that it does need quite a bit of thrust to start accelerating at a halfway decent speed. I mean, look at that, we need about 40% N1, and in the range in between, from like idle to call it 20% or call it 39%, really not much happens. So that's something that I haven't quite understood yet, but yeah, that's how the flight model behaves for now. If you are a real CRJ pilot, or if you have any real-world insights there, do put it in the comments below if that taxi behavior is realistic or not. Personally, I don't think it is, because if the plane does accelerate on idle thrust, as we've seen when getting out of the gate, then it would only make sense if the engines had more of an effect at, you know, thrust levels slightly above idle. Alright, taxi checklist please. Flaps, 8, flight controls, checked, trims, green and 7.5. Thrust reversers, armed, EVAs and CAS, checked, BTMS, 0, cabin ready, taxi checklist complete.
Contact tower on 118.305 auf Wiedersehen.
118.305, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, cheers. Contact tower, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray ready for departure. So, departure is pre-selected.
Approaching 28.
Intentional.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Nuremberg Airport Tower, runway 28, winds 235 at 6, cleared for takeoff.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, runway 28, cleared for takeoff, cheers. Now see what I mean? I'm at 38% N1, it barely accelerates. Only if I go to like 40%, then it gives us like a decent acceleration. So, cabin crew, prepare for departure, please. Are you ready? Then Sugat 1 Golf it is. Windsock from the left at 10 knots. Well, rather at 15 knots. That's fine as well.
On runway 28.
Okay, let's stop it here for a second. And then takeoff. The reason I'm stopping is because I want to carefully set my thrust into the flex notch, because that was a bug with an earlier version. And just see if it stabilizes correctly. And that looks about right. Yeah. Thrust set about 1% too much. But that's within limits. That's okay. $80 knots. Checked. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Okay, 400. Nav, speed. And over to departure. Oh, it's turbulent here. München radar, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, passing 2400, climbing level 70. Okay. Back up. Flaps 1.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Munich radar identified.
Flaps 1.
Climb flight level 070.
Climb flight level 070, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Man, it is pretty turbulent indeed. But on the positive side, it does fly quite okay. And most importantly, the trim isn't completely overdone anymore. Flaps up. So, set climb thrust.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Climb flight level 210.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, climb flight level 210. Okay, that's 250 knots. Autopilot. Okay, set standard.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Contact Munich radar on 128.63.
128.63, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. München radar, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, passing level 64, climbing level 210. München radar, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, passing flight level 74, climbing level 210. Alright, after takeoff checks. So, CAS checked, altimeters, standard.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Munich radar, identified. Good morning.
He was not at his station, probably watching Netflix. Okay, in any case, we're up in the air. It's a little turbulent over here, but that's fine. And we're on the way. Very nice rate of climb, 3,000 feet a minute. That's how I like my regional airliners. Right, passing 10,000, speed 300, please. And I think since it's still so turbulent, we are going to keep the passengers seated for now. But let's quickly talk to the cabin crew that they can start their service. Hi Mara, are you here?
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Munich radar, climb flight level 220.
We are now at a safe altitude, and you are welcome to...
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, climbing flight level 220.
They are set to flight mode. Also, I'm pleased to inform
220
you that
checked.
alternate Wi-Fi service is now available. Enjoy your flight.
Let's try that again. Mara, are you here?
Yes, Captain, I'm here. Everything is going smoothly in the cabin.
Thanks. We do expect a little bit of turbulence, so we will keep our guests seated and the seatbelts fastened, but you can start your service.
Understood, Captain. I will inform the passengers to remain seated with their seatbelts fastened. I will begin the service shortly.
Okay, I think that's the best call to do here. With those turbulences, I don't want them to stand up. We'll see if it gets any better when we get to higher altitude or not. In the worst case, it's just a 30-minute flight, so they'll just have to stay seated. Man, look at that. We just lost like 15 knots. Damn, this is really turbulent here. Or maybe I just didn't fly, let's call it a small aircraft for a little while and just got so used to my wide bodies. No, this is turbulent. This really is. Of course you would feel it much less in a wide body, that's out of question. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, any chance to proceed direct Spesa?
X-ray, unknown, unable. Contact the appropriate controller for those requests.
Oh god damn, I'm still on the wrong frequency. Or rather on the wrong comm channel. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, any chance to proceed direct Spesa?
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Munich radar, identified. Good morning.
You had identified us earlier already. But okay, he doesn't seem cooperative, then we're just gonna stay on the published route, or on the planned route. Okay, so let's start collecting some of the Frankfurt charts. ILS 25 left, ATIS 118030.
Bet all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Charlie. Frankfurt Airport, information Charlie. 0620 Zulu. Wind 175 at 7. Visibility 6. Sky conditions, view at 700 feet. Broken at 1400 feet. Broken at 2400 feet. Temperature 16.
Approaching.
Dew point 15. QNH 1004. Density altitude 800 feet. Arriving runways 25 center, 25 left, 25 right. Departing runways 25 center, 25 left, 18. Transition level 60. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if traffic service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Charlie. Frankfurt Airport,
Lufthansa 7 Alpha
information
X-ray,
Charlie.
Munich radar, expect the Space for Bravo arrival. I'll have you descending in just a minute or two.
Spesa 4 Bravo arrival, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Okay, that's what we've expected anyway. Look at our speed changing. I think it's best if we just keep the passengers seated for the rest of the flight. That may be the best course of action here.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, contact Langen radar on 125.2.
125.2, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Long radar, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, level 218, climbing 220.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Langen radar, identified. Good morning.
Okay, nice. So everything's set, and we are pretty much ready to start our descent any moment again. I think if we plan something like Charlie VR at flight level 90, that should be good.
Cruising altitude, and I want to thank you for your patience during our ascent. We will begin our snack and drink service shortly, featuring our
So, top of descent in 3 minutes.
€4.50 and refreshing Franciscano wheat beer for €4.90. Please remember that all transactions are cashless.
That is fine with me, and then let's have a look into our charts. So, ILS 11115.
Thank you for flying with us on Lufthansa Flight 147 from Nuremberg to Frankfurt, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Like this, final approach class 246, and the minimum, well, 561. You can see that here, so 570 for us. Set on this side, and over here as well. Lovely. Okay. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray ready for descent. Come on, it's not that hard.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, cleared space 4 Bravo, arrival into Frankfurt. When you're ready to begin your descent, flight level 130.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, descending level 130 now. Okay, set. 130 checked. Vertical speed. So minus 2000, that should be just about good.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, maintain flight level 130.
Maintaining level 130, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray.
Gentlemen, we have
Not sure
now
why you
left
said
our
that.
altitude and have started our approach to Frankfurt.
Okay, so
Please return to your seats. Stow your deck
everything
passengers
is
to
set up for our
The
approach.
usage of the lavatories is no longer allowed at this time. Thank you for your cooperation as we prepare for landing.
Let's increase that radar descent a little bit. 2,500 should be just about fine. Alright, so I'm off ATC.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, descent flight level 100.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, descent flight level 100. Set, 100 checked. So, off ATC for a moment. Liebe Fluggäste aus dem Cockpit.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, maintain flight level 100.
Liebe Fluggäste aus dem Cockpit, hier Kapitän mit einem kleinen Update. Wir haben unseren Sinkflug Richtung Frankfurt begonnen. Verbleibende Flugzeit jetzt noch circa eine Viertelstunde. Wetter in Frankfurt ziemlich ähnlich zu dem in Nürnberg, ein wenig weniger turbulent und wir erwarten heute eine pünktliche Ankunft. Wir bedanken uns, dass Sie heute Lufthansa geflogen sind, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und würden uns freuen, Sie bald wieder an Bord begrüßen zu dürfen. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We've started our descent to Frankfurt, remaining flight time about 15 minutes. Weather in Frankfurt very similar to Nuremberg, and at least not as turbulent. Thank you very much for choosing to fly with Lufthansa today. We hope you enjoyed your stay on board and wish you a nice and safe onward journey. Alright, I'm back here, then we can start the approach briefing, please. And I'll just quickly recycle the seatbelts so that the cabin crew knows as well. Okay, so it's going to be the Spesa 4 Bravo arrival with radar vectors to the ILS approach runway 25 left. Minimum is 570, go around straight ahead left turn, climbing 5000. If you get runway 25 right, the minimum is going to be 560 and the go around will be a right hand turn, also to 5000. Extra fuel and time, we've got 2000 kilos now, minimum is quite a bit below that, so we have around 15 minutes extra. Thank you. Flight director guidance, ILS approach, config full, and we will use the reversers in maximum. Manual braking to vacate runway 25 left to the right or runway 25 right to the left.
X-ray, contact Frankfurt approach on 118.505.
118.505, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Long radar, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, level 1460, descending 100.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Frankfurt approach identified. Good morning, expect the ILS runway 25 left approach into Frankfurt via Delta Foxtrot 626.
Expect ILS 25 left, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Alright, let's start slowing down, otherwise this whole thing is not gonna work. Okay, so to complete our briefing, we've got nothing special or non-standard, and that's it really. Any questions? No? Beautiful, so that's our briefing complete. Man, we really need assistance. Luckily, we have a very effective speed brake. So, flight ball is deployed, that's as expected. So 2,000 feet a minute. Let's see if we can do that properly. Note how the autopilot is somewhat overshooting here. Okay, speed looks good. Might overshoot the turn a tiny bit, but we should stay within RMP1 standards. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, request radar vectors to final approach.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Something went wrong on this end, and I wasn't able to do the math on the vectoring approach. This has been reported as bug, but you'll need to get yourself to the approach fix.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, roger. Request descent to altitude 4000. Okay, where the hell are you turning?
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, descent altitude 4000 feet, QNH 1007.
Descent 4000 feet, QNH 1007, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Is that QNH? Interesting, the 8 is at 1004. Okay, 1007 cross-check, passing 9800 now. Okay, and he said we gotta get ourselves onto the final approach, so since nav mode completely messed it up over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final approach into Frankfurt. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow
Let's see,
them
we got
until
about 10
arrive
miles
at
to the
gate.
final approach
We
fix, that
kindly
should
ask
be
that you put
fine.
your tray tables away,
Direct 2,
return your seats to their full upright position, and ensure your seatbelts are fastened.
Delta Fox
Once
620.
we arrive, Lufthansa
On a
staff
course
on
of
the ground will provide you
246.
with information regarding your connecting flights. Thank you for your cooperation.
Execute. Okay, here we go. That should be fine. 11 miles. Should be able to make the descent. Alright. So, approach checklist please. Pressurization, land out 360, cast checked, altimeters, QNH 1007, landing data. Oh, that's something we didn't do yet. Set. Alright, landing, or rather approach checklist complete. So, left heading 280, cleared for the approach. It's interesting, the course of the ILS was correctly pre-selected, but when we changed over to log 1, we had to do it again ourselves. Alright, we're 12 miles from the final approach fix. I think we can easily still the speed brake.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, direct Delta Foxtrot 626, cleared for the ILS runway 25 left approach, Delta Foxtrot 626 transition.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, cleared ILS 25 left. I'm not gonna read back that Delta Fox point because it would be nonsense to fly there now. We'll just intercept ourselves here. So, localizer. Man, that thing captured very late. And surprise, it's overshooting. Definitely not supposed to do that. That's quite a significant overshoot. Look at that. It's almost full-scale deflection. That is bad. I mean, you can do better hunts. Even though, as far as I remember, he's just using the Asobo autopilot. And in the meantime, anti-ice off. Alright, so we're receiving a glide slope. Approach mode is armed. Where are you turning? Like, honestly, where is it turning? Lock 1, huh? And the same thing on the other side. It's not like it would be using a wrong signal or something. Okay, thank you. I've seen enough. Autopilot off. Flight directors off. Look at that. 2 miles off to the other side. If I had done that on VATSIM...
7 Alpha X-ray. Contact Frankfurt Tower on 136.5.
136.5, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. Long radar, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, established ILS 25 left, and your Frankfurt Tower, of course.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, Frankfurt Tower identified.
Okay, so let's do a classical Frankfurt, 170 until 5. Flaps 1. Speed checked. So I'm not doing any control input, let's see. Flap 1 seemed to have had a little bit of a stabilizing effect. But that's about it. Why does it still say cowl anti-ice on? Didn't we switch that off? Oh, no. I switched the probe beat off, not the cowl anti-ice. Okay, that's on me. Flaps 8. Okay, the localizer is coming alive again. Alright, runway is in sight. Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, runway 25 center in sight. Let's see if we can get a swing over.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, negative runway 25 left is assigned, winds 195 at 7, runway 25 left cleared to land.
Runway 25 left, clear to land, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. I don't care what's assigned, I care what's available, my friend. But okay, you don't always get the swing over in the real world as well, so that's fine. So, a little turbulent here again. We've got to maintain this config until 5 miles. That's typical Frankfurt. 170 to 5.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, winds 195 at 7, runway 25 left cleared to land.
25 left, clear to land, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray. You said that already. So 195 at 7. So the winds are going to turn rather significantly to the left. Okay, I tell you what, let's start to configure already. Gear down, flaps 20. Even though we still have to maintain the speed, but that way we can at least be ready just to pull the thrust off once we reach 5 miles. Man, it is windy today. It is really windy. Okay, 5 miles, thrust idle. So set VREF. And flaps 30. Flaps 45. Landing checklist. Our final checklist. Cabin ready. Thrust reverser armed. Ooh. So, gear, down, flaps, 45. Landing checklist complete.
1,000.
Checked. So, we're in VMC, 500 foot gate applies. And this is why I need a second pilot flying aircraft like this.
Approaching 25 left.
Man, it is windy. We gotta work. We really gotta work on this one. Okay, everything's stable.
400.
Wind check.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, winds 195 at 7.
Okay, so the winds are still going to lose in strength rather significantly. So minimum continue, in case we didn't say that, but the wind check was more important there.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brake up, thrust wheel is normal. $70 knots. Whoa, this was an interesting landing. This was really an interesting one. And 29 minutes of flight time.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, welcome to Frankfurt. Contact ground on 121.805.
121.805, Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray.
At Frankfurt Airport. Thank you for flying with Lufthansa Flight 147 from Nuremberg. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until we have reached our final parking position.
Okay, so quick look at the chart, see where we want to park.
And has one of the largest financial districts in Europe.
Basically somewhere
Local
over
time
here.
is 9:02
Frankfurt, ground Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, request taxi to gate Victor 157.
We wish you a pleasant stay or safe onward journey. We hope to see you back on board very soon.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, taxi to V157 via Mike 17, Mike 24, cross runway 07 center, then Lima 14, November 10, November. Good day.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha X-ray, taxi gate Victor 157 via Mike 24, cross 25 center, Lima 14, November 10, November. Okay, so Mike 24 should be straight ahead if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. Perfect, let's go. Oh, that's a little bit too much thrust. Okay, GSX, let's get you ready for Victor 157. Handling by Fraport. So let's take a tiny shortcut over here. We already cleared across, so strobe lights are on. Runway clear on the right side, clear on the left
Approaching
side.
07 center.
Checked. That sound tells us we are going faster than the plane wants us to go. Okay, so continue via November 10. That's the one straight ahead. Yeah, November 10 over here. Okay, clear the runway, strobe light off. Then let's already open the APU door. And then let's see, 16 is on the right, so we gotta turn right onto November. Okay, clear on the right side. Okay, start APU. Okay, that's 161 over here, 160. 157 is the last one, okay. So this one over here, lights off. And the radar is off as well. Okay, there's a marshaller. What was that? Okay, GSX is fucking up again. But I don't care. Parking brake set, APU is available. Shutdown 2, shutdown 1. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, both engines running down. Beacon off, hydraulics off. Fuel pumps off and signs off. And probe heat off. That should have been off earlier, my mistake. Okay, lovely. Transponder, standby, and 2000. And then let's do the parking checklist, please. Parking brake, on, thrust levers, shutter, fuel pumps, off, ignition off, anti-ice off, low off, external lights set, hydraulics off, trims centered, flaps 0, radar and transponder off and standby, and nose wheel steering off, parking checklist complete. Alright, so sharks in position, ground power. Why can I not connect the ground power? Is GSX fucking with it again? Oh well, I don't care. Just open those doors and we will do the main door ourselves. Well, my friends, and with this, welcome to Frankfurt. I hope you all enjoyed the flight as much as I did, and I gotta say, there are still some bugs in there that should absolutely not happen. Just look at the ILS intercept here, that's a no-go after so many updates. The flight model and the engine model itself seem mostly fine. I mean, the approach was pure fun, especially with that turbulence in. And the engines, yeah, they were okay. Honestly, I would expect them to behave a little bit different, like having more thrust in the regime between idle and 40% during taxi, and probably a little bit quicker reaction on final approach. But overall, I think for the Aerosoft CRJ, this is actually a good update. So, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this flight as much as I did. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, and with that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. If you liked today's ATC, be sure to check out Say Intentions AI using the link in the video description below. And with all of that out of the way, if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.